Me and Dave, we were shooting the shit. Pardon me, my language. And Kimby, season 1 was horrible, but season 3 was total genius. Listen, we've got to talk about this in a second, but no, that's not the case. Let's do a horror-themed intro, Dave.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Late Horror Show. I am Dino, as always, and that is Dave Plouffe, the professor, the paranormal gardener, and all kinds of things. Put a quarter in the swear jar, Jamie O. Hello, Jamie O. Yeah, I don't know why I feel weird even saying that word on. Anyways, Kimby, I got to get to this. What's the deal with season 1 being horrible? Listen.
Well, look,
Dave, go ahead. Let me. I always interrupt.
I hope no one looks at season 1 of Dino and Dave as being horrible.
Oh,
you know,
no,
because then season 3, maybe, but that's 2026.
Listen. There is a. First of all, you're saying, and listen, Kimby, love you. Anyways, season 1 was horrible, but season 3 was total genius. I adore Elaine. I agree. Season 3 was great. Every season was great. There's not a bad season. I think what is wrong with season 1 for some people, Dave, is the fact that it's a bit. Well, there's only 5 episodes, first of all, but it's slower paced, a little bit slower paced. I think, to me, it feels that way. But it has a certain charm about it. You know, the first episode, you got Kessler instead of Kramer. But there's a certain charm to season 1 that is, I think, is a little bit more slow paced, and you get to be involved with the characters just a little bit more. Whereas the more the seasons go on, action picks up, and it's got to be nonstop every second. You know what I mean? Those are my thoughts, Dave.
All right, perfect. What I love is that there's actually a dog in the first episode.
Well, thank you, Jamie.
That attacks George.
Yes.
I love the fact that there's all this experimentation going on. We don't even have Elaine in the first episode. We have a little bit more, I think, focused on the interaction, the banter between the characters.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I really enjoyed rewatching these 5 episodes.
Yeah, and it's like a get to know you, and very quickly you get to know all of the characters. And right off the bat, I think there's some very funny concepts in the first season. I really do. Let me say again, hello to everybody. I forgot to do that. Also hit that thumbs up button. Check out the links below in the description. Listen, Seinfeld, it's one of the greatest sitcoms of all times. You know, it's great to talk about and hear what everybody else thinks.
It is. I first want to say hello to Harry. And
hey, Harry.
Of course, another hello to Jamie. Amnesia Dream, I thought, had a great quote. If a subscriber gets difficult, you clone him.
You clone him, yes. An episode where Kramer is helping Jerry Seinfeld's mother pick a word for Scrabble. And she comes up with quone. And Kramer says, yes, no, that's a word. Jerry can't find it in the dictionary. And Kramer goes, no, you need a medical dictionary. So
that's right.
He goes, use it in a sentence.
With
the patient was getting difficult, so you quone him. Anyways, go on, Dave.
Well, why don't we start out with like where
saying
you
hi
first
to everybody?
Saw Seinfeld?
Yes.
And like kind of.
And hello to Connie Clary and Tune the News and Amnesia Dream. Welcome. Francis McCloskey, what's going on? Jack Dowd bringing in Barney Martin was a huge plus. Okay. Jamie O, Harry Scott, Becca Too Tall, Sweet Indigo, Kimby. Hopefully you took no offense, Kimby. I love every single episode in every season. There you go. Go ahead, Dave.
All right. So we've got 5 episodes.
Yes.
The Seinfeld Chronicles, The Stakeout, The Robbery, The Unbonding, and finally The Stock Tip. The very first episode, July 5th, 1989. Just a random put it out there episode.
Yep.
And then everything else is May and September of 1990.
Yeah.
So did you watch it from the very, very beginning? Because I did not.
Nope.
Got it in maybe up in season 5 or 6.
Yeah, it was somewhere around there too. Then I started taping the reruns on my VHS tapes and writing them down each episode, and then they would start going in order. So I eventually got them. But yeah, no, when it first came out, I was too busy doing other things. You know, I'm young. But yeah, about maybe 5th, 6th, season, I started getting into it, and it was very, very fun. But to start the very first episode, you had another question before we get into talking about each episode. What were you going to say? Our favorite?
Well, no, I was just going to ask, what makes Seinfeld so great for you to watch? Because you're a big Seinfeld fan.
Oh, yeah, because it's so relatable that every single day there's quotes that come from Seinfeld in my everyday life. I mean, it's like a nonstop thing. I think also Seinfeld is one of those shows like that just is never going to go out of style. I mean, it's going to hold up over time and just always be good. You know what I mean? Listen, I think a lot of people would agree with me that it's one of the greatest sitcoms of all times. He quit at the top of his game, but he went out really bad because that finale episode sucked. It stunk. It was the worst one of the bit. And I'm like going, Jerry, you tried to do everything right, but then you pushed that finale and you just ruined that episode. But everything else is gold. It's gold, Jerry. It's gold. Why do they call it roundine? Ovaltine. Why do they call it roundine? The jar's round. The lid's round. They should call it roundine. Yeah, something like that. Anyways. Martin replaced original actor as Jerry's dad. Oh, yes. Jacked out. Without a doubt. Jerry's father in the first season, well, what episode did he come in? It was the Stakeout that you first see Jerry Seinfeld's dad. And that was the second episode 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he is not he's not very cohesive with the rest of them. He just didn't fit well. Jerry's mother did, but go ahead.
I was going to say, ironically, it's the same thing that we see with George's dad. Is we're going to have a different George dad, and then it's going to be Frank Costanza later.
Yeah, it was a really weird switcheroo. It was the one where the handicap wheelchair episode, and you see a different George's father there, and soon after we got Stiller, and thank God we did. But they knew it and they fixed it right away. They just needed a couple takes, and they said, no, this ain't gonna work. We need somebody else. So fortunately they got somebody else to play the role. Tiger Man, what's going on? Good to see you. Adam for Christ, good to see you. I love how Kramer is always coming over to use stuff out of Jerry's fridge. Got any meat, salad? Yeah, listen, Kramer, they all make this sitcom. I think without one of them, it might not be the same. That if that makes any sense. As much as I'm not a Friends fan, only because I never watched it really, it's probably like taking one of them away. Would it be the same kind of show if you had only 3 of them and not 4? Who knows? I don't know. But anyways,
I would agree. I am almost a little upset that they never did a Seinfeld movie. They never did anything beyond the series that I really would have liked to have seen?
I went, well, Dave, I got something for you then.
All right. Then
Yeah,
don't tell
because
me it's Seinfeld Legos.
no, 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 no. But well, they do got a Seinfeld
I
Lego
know.
set. But no, they did. And if you're a fan of Larry David,
Okay.
co-creator of Seinfeld, he came out with a show called Curb Your Enthusiasm that's on HBO.
All right. I've never
Um,
seen it.
yeah, yeah, you haven't seen Curb Your Enthusiasm yet. Oh my
One
God.
episode.
Well, listen, don't watch the last couple seasons. Don't watch it. Don't watch it because this last season sucks. But somewhere in the middle, Dave, he got them back, all of them, Elaine, Kramer, George, Jerry, to come back and do a final finale show, because in the show, Curb Your Enthusiasm, he talked about how much he didn't like the finale.
Uh-huh.
And he said, let's redo it. So they made a point to redo it. So you kind of get a finale episode there. And this one was much better than the other one. But you see an older Kramer. Jerry looked almost, similar, Lane, George, but yes, it was pretty much another kind of short little episode, like 15 minutes or something like that. So it works.
Okay. And I'm going to respond to Frances McCloskey real quickly. She says, what would the movie be about? Obviously, it would be about nothing.
Exactly. It would be about nothing.
But speaking of that, what Larry David did with Curb Your Enthusiasm with the characters, it's the exact same thing that we see in Frasier. There is the show where Woody comes back. There is the show that Sam comes back. And throughout the first few seasons, we start to see these Cheers characters one more time. In fact, there's an episode where the postman, Cliff, is going to finally retire. And Carla's happy because she's never going to see him again. He's going to move to wherever and go fishing every day. And at the very end, he's all right, I'm going to stay. And Carla comes over to kill him, basically, going, no, I want to be free of you. They do a great job bringing back the Cheers cast throughout Frasier's run. Yeah.
Yeah. I always thought to myself, I was like what you just said there. Let's make a made for TV type movie thing with like a reunion show or something. But those always go bad, Dave. And
no, but that's the thing. I would not have wanted a reunion show. I would have wanted what they did on the X-Files.
Okay.
Because the X-Files movie was really, really good.
Yeah.
And it just was a little bit longer plot. And the same thing I would have loved to have seen with Seinfeld. Maybe a vacation episode where they come to California.
Yeah.
Or, something like that, where they would have had individual episodes, very much like I Love Lucy as well.
Yeah. So I think a movie would have been an interesting concept. And I think with Larry David and Jerry, they could have done that for sure. I definitely wouldn't have wanted them to just come back and do something sloppy, which he never did. And that's why, he just left it at that. But he did come back for Curb Your Enthusiasm, and it was really good. You actually get three episodes of Curb where they're practicing and working up to it, and then you finally get it. So it is pretty good. I can't remember which season it was, but somewhere in the middle there. And Seinfeld is just great. Anyways, let's talk about which is your favorite out of all of these ones. I could tell you which is my worst for a reason. The stock tip, the episode 5. I think the relationship between Jerry and his girlfriend in that episode is so annoying that it doesn't George makes up for it with the stock tip and what's going on in that plot. But
I couldn't agree with you more. Out of all the notes I took, episode 3 and episode 5 were the worst.
Okay,
and I just thought there were some ridiculous things going on. I love Vanessa, which is Seinfeld's girlfriend.
Yeah.
in the episode, both episode 2 and episode 5. This is the only time we see Vanessa, and I think it's the only time Jerry has a girlfriend over 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But she's beautiful. She's stunning. I can't imagine not having a wonderful time in Vermont in a cabin, basically in a historic home with a gorgeous girl. I mean, hello.
Yeah, just because it's raining outside, I don't understand why it didn't go well. I mean, yeah, it didn't work out. It didn't work out. That's all. But the stock tip, that plot line in that episode was very, very good. I really did enjoy that.
Yeah, I especially like the end
Mhm.
where George is walking around with a cigar at Monk's. And he's giving the waitress actually $41 as payment. And he's let me look at that bill again. And he tries to take the dollar bill back, and she's pinching it so much that he like finally gets it.
Yes. The stakeout is rad. Art Vandelane Quone. Yeah, the stakeout episode 2 is where he goes to a party with Elaine, where very interesting conversation where Elaine's had a dream of him with wooden teeth, or something like that. And he meets this woman across from him, Vanessa, and they kind of strike up a little thing going on there. And he doesn't get her name, but he gets, as you see, Dave Blueface, Sagman, Bennett, Robbins, Oppenheimer, and Taft. That's the agency that she works for. And Jerry's father says to go stake out the lobby, and that's where you get an exchange of Jerry and George in the lobby actually talking about like George wants to be an architect. Or go ahead, Dave.
Well, that's one of the cool things that I was really surprised about watching all these first season episodes again, is so many of the plot points, I guess you could call them,
Reuse.
the same thing with the Jack Benny program. It's like Irene Dunn, no, that's dead. And you have those types of things throughout the seasons, and we have the same thing here. The idea of Kramer having this idea to make a chain of restaurants where you make your own pizza pie, right? And them going, oh, no one's going to want to do this. No one's going to want to put their,
Well, I thought that was, nobody's going to want to put their hands in a 600-degree oven.
Yeah.
But you know what? I kept saying, I think that's a great idea, actually. As long as it is supervised, it's not a bad idea, Make your own pizza pie.
I love the way Kramer says that. It's all supervised.
Oh, but he also has the idea for the tie dispenser. Like, you're eating at a restaurant and, you get food on your tie, you can just pull it down and another one comes out. He has so many ideas. And you never really get to know what he does, throughout the sitcom. I mean, but he's making money, living in an apartment in New York City.
Well, the first episode, I think Jerry mentions that you haven't left the apartment in like 11 years.
Yeah, so it's funny, Dave, because what maybe there's something wrong with, maybe he gets disability. I don't know. Listen, maybe that was a hidden, plot point for Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld, and it's paid for. I don't know. But
you remember Kramer's mother's name for some Seinfeld trivia that we see in a much later season? Or
Babs. Yes, it's Babs. Babs. Yes.
Awful woman.
She's an awful woman. Newman says she's an awful woman. She's a drunk. She's all these things.
Many times I had to throw her out of here.
But listen, Mike, I know you guys are mentioning other things too, like Jerry picks his nose, puffy shirt. Those are all down the line in other seasons. But I think Kramer's character, how it started off as in the first episode, the pilot, where he was Kessler and he was trying to get his character. Parts of his character were the same as a show that he used to do prior to this with Larry David called Fridays. I don't know if you've ever seen Fridays.
Never even heard of it.
Look up Kramer and Fridays on YouTube, and I'm sure a bunch of stuff will pop up.
Oh.
There's some funny. It's kind of like an SNL type show. Didn't last very long. I think maybe only one season, and then they were done. But Kramer was there. Larry David was a writer on the show, and it was funny. A lot of the stuff I've seen, so you got to check it out. But he came into this one with that same kind of character as Fridays. So I think that's when comes second episode, third episode, fourth episode. I'm sure he started having input like to change it up. You kind of be a little bit more normal, even though Kramer was never normal throughout the whole run. But he just was way too out there in the pilot episode. But I loved it, other than the fact about the woman coming to visit from that he met. And that kind of annoyed me a little bit. So you know what? I might take it back and say the pilot's my worst episode. It's close between that one and how annoying Vanessa was in the last one.
It was. And okay, so the problem that I have with the pilot is that it is a pilot and it looks like such fake scenery.
Yeah.
Whether it's they do sit in monks, but it's not monks. It's just some cheap Carol Burnett style cafe.
Yeah.
And then also there was one other. Jerry's apartment looked like he had just moved in, and it looked like it was in the low rent district. It was just
Well, I did like the window.
Like a big plus because it was more of a solarium type of thing.
Yes, more like the Friends windows on the side of their apartment. There, that was nice. But yeah, the couch, the set, even the lamp looks like something they rented from the studio. Where the props from the studio, it looked like not that great. But I do get it. But the woman that comes, like Jerry met a woman while he was on vacation or whatever, and she said she'd be coming to New York, and there's a whole back and forth between him and George on what that means, because she says, I had to come in, I might see you possibly. And George goes, no, she's just being nice and stuff like that. But she eventually does.
Has to come in.
Yeah. Even asked the waitress, who, again, like you said, not a regular waitress you see throughout the seasons. She's just some woman, and she does her part pretty good. It's nothing too bad about that. But
most of these early stand-in people are comics.
Yes. Jerry helping fellow friends out. Yes. I am going to have to binge season now. Yeah, it's 5 episodes. It'll take you a couple hours and you're done. Right. So yeah, that's kind of what we did. But when the girl comes to visit Jerry, they pick her up at the airport. There's a whole thing there too, like if she greets him with a kiss, this or that, but she comes up behind him, holds his eyes, and doesn't give a kiss, and they're just confused on what's going on. But she comes back to his apartment, and this annoyed me a little bit. Like she's wants to spend, can I spend the night? Can I spend tomorrow night? She tells him then, can we go? He says, what do you want to do tomorrow? You got time? She goes, I want to do a cruise.
A 5-hour cruise.
She goes,
I don't want to spend 5 hours with her.
Yeah, the moops. Yeah, no, I don't either, because it was.
But she was okay. First of all, it bothered me. Her name is Laura, and she was very suggestive on the couch, right? And so she's taking off her shoes, she's unbuttoning her blouse to make her more comfortable. She's asking Jerry to bring her some wine, and she goes,
setting it all up.
Lights on, let's turn this off. And so it's all like moody and everything like that. And one of the things that bothered me is I think Jerry could have done better, because she looked old. And my comment down here was, it looked like the lead singer of Roxette with that haircut.
Well, listen, there's nothing wrong with the lead singer Roxette back in the day, but no, I get what you're saying. This is not your typical female actress that Jerry would have as a girlfriend on the show.
Correct.
Listen, after season 1, it was like model after model after model. So, you know, he was sitting in the room, you know, picking them out, you know, each and every time. But this one, yeah, you know, is what it is. You got the 80s kind of Home Alone, like long dress and very covered up. And yeah, we know what you're talking about, Dave.
And
But
I do have to put myself back in time because this is 35 years ago.
yeah,
This is, you know, things were
80s
different.
dress.
Things were different.
Yeah. But it's the way she went about it after all of that and all the setup. She gets a call from her boyfriend at Jerry's apartment. Not her boyfriend, her fiance. And you're like going, oh my gosh. And then Jerry going, you know, like he's still going to go on with the trip and stuff like. And I'm like going, no. You immediately go, oh, you're engaged. I didn't think that's what was going on. Yeah, and not take her on the boat trip. That's for sure. But that annoyed me. That annoyed me on the pilot.
Well, ironically, that's something that happened to me.
Oh no.
Yeah. Not the engaged part, but you know, it was this one girl that I really liked. Asked her out. She said yes. You know, we had like she laughed at my joke. She was great. She was wonderful. And she's all, by the way, she goes, since you're so into art, do you have any suggestions of museums to go to? Because my boyfriend loves museums. And I'm like, I just asked you out like to dinner and to do stuff. And she goes, oh, I didn't know you were like asking me out on a date. And I'm like, what the hell? Like just random people ask you to dinner and you say yes?
Well, if they can get it paid for, maybe. I don't know. Did you pay for it?
I didn't go.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, good for you. Okay.
No way.
You said, oh, you got a boyfriend. That's right. Yeah. That's awful, Dave. I'm sorry to hear that.
I know. It's so bad it stopped the chat.
Listen. We're sitting here talking fun. Memories of Seinfeld. You know, we don't always do streams that lines up with the channel's theme, and it's just me and Dave having fun talking about something we want to talk about. So if you guys enjoy it and are having fun listening to us, then so be it. That's a good thing. Amnesia Dream.
On that couch scene there.
Yeah.
Did you think that Seinfeld looked a little bit like John Travolta? Like that's the look they were going for, with the way the hair was. I had one of my notes down where it says he looks like John
Travolta.
Yeah,
just like really weird. I don't know, Dave. I didn't catch that.
Okay.
But
next time you watch it, check it out. Because
now that you mentioned it, yeah, I'll have to go back and see. I'm gonna talk about Amnesia Dream 75 real quick, but Jamie O says chicks can also be clueless. Just saying. Yeah. Anybody can really be clueless, but yeah, Jamie O letting us know. Jamie O letting us know. Amnesia Dream 75 says the pilot was rough. The couch cushion budget seemed like the net. Well, I think that's the way most pilots went back in the day. Things were like that to set it up. I don't know if they were setting it up to fail, but I mean, again, we only got 5 episodes, and it was rough going for the first couple seasons.
Sure,
it was up against some other really good shows, and again, it's a shame because sometimes really good shows end up just going after a pilot episode or a few runs or whatever, and you miss out on something that could have been really, really great. Luckily, they stuck with this, and we got what we got. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. That's for sure. I'll laugh at your jokes, Dave. Says Francis. CM, sorry to hear that. Hey, CM, what's going on? Yeah, no, I
recovered. It's okay. It was just an very odd thing that happened.
John Travolta in dad jeans. Sandy's like, wear my jeans. Jerry in his jeans. Listen,
all right.
Jeans are the 50s. 60s and 70s. 80s, we start getting. Wait, what was the episode? What's the pants episode?
I don't remember. I was just immediately going to parachute pants.
Well, those two. I did have parachute pants back in the 80s. Yes, I want my cameo parachute pants. It was so ridiculous, Dave. So many zippers. I put the vacuum up, on from the bottom, and it looked like you were floating like a parachute. Anyways, so funny, so funny. But Dave's okay now. He had a little bit of a cry before we went on air. That's why it took so long for me to get on here, because it's relatively new. This hit him hard with this woman, and it's all okay though, right, Dave?
Everything's great.
Okay, yeah. We shouldn't stop the show, should we? Oh boy. Okay. Dave's leaving us.
You want to see me cry again? That's okay.
No, don't cry. Okay, so
what
pilot stakeout robbery. Let's talk about the robbery, because you don't like the robbery.
That was actually a mistake. Before we go to that, I just want to mention in the number 1 episode, the hairstyles were so different. George has a lot more hair. He's almost like fully covered, but thinning.
And wears a cap too.
Wears a cap, and he's working in real estate. We also have Kramer has a lot more like hair, different color, different kind of. It's not going to be the standard Kramer that we have coming up.
Yeah.
And that he did have a dog that attacked George really quickly, and like George kind of like wimped out, like, "Oh my God, get it off me," type of thing.
Yeah.
And then that was like the only thing that we had for the dog, and it was gone.
Oh yeah, lots of things changed after that first pilot. Dave's laugh when he tilts his head back, the loudest silent laugh ever. Okay.
It's because I'm on mute.
Yeah, Dave likes to so that nobody can hear him,
Absolutely. It's kind of like that Eddie Murphy laugh in Beverly Hills Cop.
Wait, how'd that go again?
I can't even do it. It hurts my throat.
Yeah, okay, I'm not doing it either.
Yeah, actually during his laugh.
Okay, so the robbery. Let's talk about that a little bit. It was
episode 3, the robbery.
Yeah.
Which is actually based on a real event that Jerry Seinfeld went through, because people were breaking into his apartment stealing stuff.
Yes, because he grew up in the hood.
I guess so, but he goes. They even I guess they had the apartment next to him was vacant, and they actually went through the wall. Is how the story goes. I saw him on an interview with Larry David, and was talking about the different times he was robbed. I did have a question in regards to that episode. When they played Choose. Did you understand that game?
When they played what?
They said it's the game called Choose, and where it was kind of like, it's kind of like that.
I got odds, I got evens.
Yeah, is that what it was?
I never heard of it called that before. So
because that's what I actually watched them with the subtitles on, and that's what they called the game. And I'm just like, are they just playing
mine? Onesie, twosies, mine.
Yeah, and I'm lost. I don't know. It's nothing we had on the West Coast.
No, nothing we had either. We would always do the pick each person. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch the person by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Or ink a dink a bottle ink. The cork fell out and you stink, or something like that. I don't know.
All right.
But never that. I don't know what the odds and.
I mean, we actually did rock, paper, scissors, and we did 2 out of 3 and all that.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Jerry's apartment number changed too. Yeah, of course. Lots of things changed, and many stayed the same. I don't know. The robbery episode, very good. Listen, none of them are bad for me, but Elaine, that's the whole episode where Jerry and George both are in the same apartment, and Elaine wants the apartment over who. It's the one where he gets robbed, and George says, "Listen, I got a great apartment," and it's so funny because he convinces him to go look at this apartment. You know, there's so many things, Dave, that end up annoying me about these episodes, but I love them. Like the fact that, okay, let me set the premise up. Jerry's apartment is robbed because Elaine is house sitting. Kramer comes in across and leaves the door open. Stuff is stolen. Stuff, you know, and these are real life events too. But go ahead.
And what a soap opera was he so wrapped up in? He forgot to go back and close the door.
Wasn't it Young and the Restless?
Nope.
Bold and the Beautiful.
Yes.
Yes, Bold and the Beautiful. That's shoot. I was going to say Bold and Beautiful first, but I went to Young and the Restless. And he accidentally left the door open. So that's when George says, "What are you living here for? You can afford a better apartment," which he can. Right. He was doing very well. And it's funny, he stayed in this, that you can't change the apartment after, once a show like this starts off. But he does go and see this apartment. It's got a fireplace. It's 3 times bigger. It's got a patio. It's right down the street is Central Park where you could run every morning. It's like, who wouldn't take that? But what ends up happening is him and George get in a fight about it because George is jealous and goes, I want this apartment, And meanwhile, Elaine's in the background going, well, I get whose ever apartment because evidently she's got a roommate and she hates her apartment. And it's hard to find an apartment in New York, I guess.
And I guess we're going to see the roommate in season 2, from what I understand.
Yes. So hello, Elaine. her roommate / theater.
Yes.
Yeah. She's an actress slash
waitress.
Waitress. Yeah, actress / waitress.
And then she corrects her, or she corrects him, waitress / actress, because she's like not really that great of a actress.
Yeah.
What I love.
Slow down. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. Hold on. Okay, we're caught up. Go ahead.
All right, because I know it moves sometimes really quick. I love Elaine's the way her banter is. It's just like someone left the door open. And then she gets all excited about the fireplace. Like, Jerry, you've got a fireplace, and Jerry's like, it means I need firewood. Where do I get firewood? A guy brings it. Do you tip him?
You can have wood delivered. Yeah.
How much do I tip him? And he's all, I'm going to need a gardener now. I'm going to need someone to take care of the lawn. Do I tip him too? And it's just not that he's negative or anything. He's just like, working all these
being
things.
A smart aleck. Yeah. He's being a smart ass is what he's being. Yeah. Becca Tootal knows the Seinfeld like the back of her hand. George, the mirror is fantastic. I look great in this mirror. Yeah, when he says that, it's so funny. Because I'm looking at him, I'm going, that's a terrible sweater he's wearing. But he says he looks great in it. Yeah, anyways, whatever.
It was the 90s.
Oh, God. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, we were getting close to the 90s here, and it's I don't like the 90s very well.
I like the nickname that Elaine calls Jerry at the very beginning. You are like a master packer, as he's getting ready to go on this trip. And he pulls out this umbrella and he's like showing it around with a baton. And,
I am the master packer. Yeah. It's the one thing I think, not too much negativity, but one of the things that has always annoyed me is Jerry, and it's also the thing that just brings you in and sucks you into the show because he's so arrogant. The way he acts, like he's better than everybody else. He's even Steven. He gets every girl that he wants. I mean, he's like even George in season 3, I think it is. George wants to be with a woman that's like, a giant. I want to sleep with a giant. I want her to be like 6'3", just a beautiful giant woman. And Jerry goes, oh, really? Yeah. And George goes, well, what's the tallest woman you ever slept with? And he goes, 6'3". You know, it's like, oh, I mean, was that written in the script, or did Jerry really have to be that guy who got everything? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Was that part of all of it? I don't know. Sometimes it was annoying how arrogant he was, but you know, I think it's also what drew us in, and I really enjoyed it.
Well, you know, I
They're
did see
all
it.
annoying, says CM. What?
Don't go there because she may think we're annoying too. That's why she's
Oh
here.
boy. Yeah, CM.
I did actually get to see Jerry Seinfeld stand up live. Early 90s, I think about 1992. I drove out to Las Vegas and he was performing at Caesar's Palace. And
Yeah.
he had a really great stand up
Oh yeah.
show. And there was even a time where he stopped down right in the middle of the show and fielded questions from all of the audience and everything like that. People were just yelling out, and he was great.
Yeah, listen, he even attempted Jamie. He even attempted Friday night videos. You remember that? He hosted that too on an episode, and it was like a chunk for the people who didn't have MTV. They could watch this on regular TV. I forget what network it was on or whatever, but they would play chunks of videos, and Jerry hosted, like he was kind of sitting there just host, and it was so odd seeing him do that because I'm used to him on Seinfeld.
Right.
But so funny, so funny. But yeah, the robbery, some issues, but you know, I really enjoyed that. But male unbonding, how about we move on to episode 4, where
Okay.
Jerry
We
ahead.
can do that, except I need to talk about the very end of the
Of
episode
the robbery? Okay,
of
go
the
ahead.
robbery, because we meet Diane, the neighbor, and
Oh,
each of them has their own. I mean, this is our first babe that we get into Seinfeld,
yeah.
and like I think it's George who like gets up and he just like sees the bottom of her, and you just see his his head go up slightly, and
Yeah.
then Elaine is just kind of like like you're gorgeous, and then Jerry's all like,
Look,
oh Jesus, like this could have been my
well, they're all listen, they were invited to a housewarming because George and Jerry both said we're not taking the apartment. If it's going to upset you, you'd come over there moaning all the time. So they mentioned it, and the waitress at Monk's ended up getting the apartment. And her husband says, I'm losing weight. We're barbecuing every night. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate this. And then he goes, oh, come over. You got to meet our new neighbor. And she's a masseuse, and she's gorgeous, and she's standing there. And yes, George gets up and he's looking at her full body as he comes up and hits her face. And then Elaine, is looking at her like she wasn't a double D or, yeah, nothing like that. But Elaine turns around and starts looking down at her, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, Elaine, you're probably bigger than. Listen, Elaine covered herself up, but Julia Louis-Dreyfus in real life, I mean, she's always been a very beautiful woman. So,
I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
Wait till we get to that mannequin episode.
Oh boy. Debbie Murray, salutations, been listening and doing chores. Thanks for the great trip down memory lane. Thank you very much. Hit the like button. Thank you, Debbie Murray. Really appreciate that. But yeah, no, it's yeah, that was, listen, they're all good. Next episode, male unbonding, where Jerry tries various excuses to avoid meeting with an old friend with whom he no longer shares any interest. It's a man who's been his friend since, I guess, when he was younger. Just an acquaintance to Jerry, but this friend makes it's like his girlfriend. And Jerry just wants to break up with this guy. He can't stand him. And again, another very annoying thing, but I loved the episode. I mean, but you're going, just tell the dude to screw off or don't answer his phone calls, whatever. I mean,
it is,
but he can't get rid of him.
There's actually a Frasier episode that's very, very similar.
Where, really?
Okay. But it's even worse because the friend is in a wheelchair. And he's like, you don't like me because I'm in a wheelchair, right? You don't like me because I'm handicapped. And it takes it to a little different level. But
that was in a Larry David Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. It was the whole episode where he kept blaming him about his handicap and his wheelchair. But go ahead.
One of the notes I also had on this episode was it is amazing, and hats off to the writers for being able to develop something that's going to fit into a 23-minute time slot.
Yeah.
Where everything takes place. And I mean, it's got to be quick, it's got to be sharp. And I think the writers do such a great job with this. In this episode, we hear the "It's not you, it's me" phrase for the very first time. We hear
it'll come up a couple times because, you never want to hear that. It's not you, it's me.
Right. And that's one of my favorite lines from the Pez dispenser episode. That'll be forthcoming. We also get the pizza chain for the first time. It's where you're going to make your own pizza pie.
Yep.
The friend is also, if I'm not mistaken, in a later episode where he plays an accountant that they think is on drugs, but it's Kramer wearing a mole hair sweater.
Yes, you are 100% correct. Okay. Yes. A later episode where he's Jerry's financial advisor and takes care of his money, and he's sniffing. And Kramer goes, why the sniffing? What's up with the sniffing? You think drugs? What? And it is the funniest thing. Kramer trying to set him up in the bathroom and takes a Polaroid of him on the toilet because he thinks he's in the stall to take. Yeah, it's so funny, but he is.
One of my very best scenes of Kramer sitting at the bar, smoking a cigarette and downing an entire beer. And you just see him, he's got the cigarette over here, he's downing the beer, and then he like burps a little bit. Yeah. And it is just the best episode.
Hello, one Sean Bond. Thank you, Connie Clary. I have to also say that if you do like Seinfeld and you're a Seinfeld fan, there's a bloopers video on YouTube. It's about an hour and a half long. It puts all the bloopers together from all the seasons, and it is so funny. I mean, you can just watch that over and over if you're a Seinfeld fan. How many times they crack up laughing. It's always funny to seeing the crew come out. They're like pissed off. There were even times that Kramer got pissed off because he's like trying to be professional, and he's like, let's just get through the line. Are we ever going to get through this? I got things that, you know what I mean? Like something like that. But always funny, man, those bloopers, that's for sure. But this episode, it was okay. Male unbonding, but not the best. The stock tip is the 5th and final one of season.
Hold on. Let's not move on from this one yet.
Okay. If you got more stuff, keep bringing it up.
I got more stuff because this one was probably, I thought the most complex out of all of them. We get Kramer's phone number, by the way, which is 555-8643. We also have a lot of good slights against George. George saying, I've got this sick compulsion to tell women how I feel, And then he's all like, and then he's got like this issue with the dental floss accidentally came out of his pocket. And Jerry's all, I don't think it's so much that as that. And he points to this little fanny bag that he's got on his
yeah.
And his comment was, it looks like your belt's digesting a small rodent.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing wearing a fanny pack? My gosh.
And anyway. I was wondering, with this male unbonding, have you had a similar situation where you've had a friend where you've just had to go, look, dude, I can't do it.
You know what? That's something I'd have to think about because of course there were people who wanted to be your friends in high school, other male friends that for some reason or another you just couldn't stand them, or you couldn't get along with them, or some other reason like that. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm sure there were a few. Can I come up with their names at this moment? Not really, but nothing really stands out. But I know they've happened, especially in high school. I think that happens all the time. But as an adult, no. I mean, Hell, I haven't had that many friends as an adult. So how about that? Anyways, go ahead.
I remember when I was a sales rep at one of my accounts, there was this one guy trying to make it as a stand-up comedian. And he's all, you got to go to my show. You got to go to my show. And I'm like, look, dude, I get up at 3:00 in the morning. I got to be to work at 4. I'm dead at 8:00 at night. So I go, I'm not going to be dealing, going to your show. And so for some reason, he called me at like 1 in the morning. My show's over. Huh? And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? I don't give a shit, And he's all like, well, he goes, you don't think it's funny? You don't think I'm funny? How I don't, maybe you don't think getting woken up at 1:00 in the morning is funny either, And he like hangs up, like he's all pissed off that I didn't go to his show when I told him I'm not going to be able to go to your show. It pissed me off, and it just reminded me of that when I watched this episode earlier today. And I will also put 25 cents in the swear jar, JBO.
Oh man. Well, that's better than anything I had, that's for sure. But yeah, that's kind of ridiculous to get upset over. But Jamie says, I love my black leather fanny pack. No shame in wearing it, side saddle. Listen, if you look fine doing it, I'm sure you look great wearing it. But a man wearing a fanny pack, I don't know. I think that's just a whole different situation. I think women can get away with fanny packs, right?
Oh yeah, even at Disneyland, you're not going to see a guy wearing a fanny pack. Well,
you might, and you'll look at it and go, "What the hell?"
He won't be from California.
But yeah, nothing wrong with a woman wearing one. A man wearing a fanny pack. Listen, there's nothing wrong. Let's shelve it. There's nothing wrong with a man wearing a fanny pack either, I guess.
You're right. We may get some bad comments down below.
We all have. Well, I doubt it. But anyways. Yeah, comment below after the video. let us know what you think of fanny packs. Yeah.
Watch us get like 30,
out of nowhere. Yeah. Right. Anyways, okay. So Dave, what else with the male unbonding?
I'm good with male unbonding now.
Yeah, you're over it?
I'm done.
You're done.
I've unbonded from the episode.
Okay, so back to the stock tip, the one that I said this is probably.
Yeah, Jamie's dad wears one. Yes, and also to Disneyland.
Oh God! Listen, don't make me feel bad. Right, come on. How can I put this? My where's one? Yes, also Disneyland. See, Dave. So there you go. I told you you'd see some men wearing them there, but listen, that's why I moved on. Listen, it's just a thought in my head. I'm thinking of a 20-year-old man, that remember there's an episode later on where they lose the car. It's the parking lot episode.
Parking lot episode, yes.
There's the 2 muscle-bound men who just came from the fitness center in the mall, and they're both wearing fanny packs and muscle shirts.
And Elaine's holding up her fish.
Yes, but the fanny packs in that episode, that's my point. Some men just look ridiculous. Okay, I'm moving on. So, listen, my apologies. Continue.
Time for the stock tip.
Yeah, the stock tip.
Which Elaine immediately slams guys with cats.
Oh, I feel so bad. Sorry, Jamie. Fanny packs are great. I want a blue one. No, it's got to be black. If I wear a black one, Dave, you probably wouldn't even see it because I just wear all black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, everything I wear, even.
And I would think you would have Legos in it.
Huh?
You could put Legos in it.
I could put Legos in my fanny pack. Yes, I could.
Sometimes you're there and you're all like, I want to build something. Hey, I've got some Legos right here.
Yes.
You can impress all the women at the coffee shop.
Not building my Legos. Okay. Anyways. Okay. So I'm in tears. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. I would wear a fanny pack if it was socially acceptable. Man. Okay, I'll leave that up for a minute. Anyways, the stock tip. Okay, you started off, Dave. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that Elaine's dating someone that has cats, and she's allergic to them. And in the episode, there is even conversation with her asking Jerry, like, how much will a hitman charge to knock off a couple of cats? And I guess the price at that time was $14. And she's all, I'll give you $28 to get rid of them both, you know? And
I'm not knocking off a couple cats for you. No. Yeah, that was kind of $14. Where'd you come up with that
I don't
price?
know. It
Really?
was just so random and everything. But
Oh.
she's, I don't trust guys that have cats or whatever. And so I took offense at that. Um,
Yeah, what's up with that?
I
That's
don't know.
yeah,
But
that's
what was
awful.
odd about the episode is every time, so Jerry and George go in to buy this stock, and I forget the
Okay,
name.
but
Yeah,
her boyfriend chose the cats over her.
he did.
And Elaine said, because they're very clean animals. And then I got to thinking, well, they do lick their. Okay. What were you saying, Dave?
I forget the company that George is trying to buy into, but it deals with like the opera, and it deals with high tech, like how do we get opera into, the
Yeah.
digital age type of thing.
Yeah.
And he's buying into this company with $5,000, and Jerry,
Trancor.
something like that,
Something
yeah.
like that.
And then Jerry buys in for 2,500, and the guy who gives him the tip goes into the hospital, and so they don't know when to sell. And every time that Jerry checks the newspaper, which he does throughout the episode, it's down, always
Yeah.
down. And when Kramer tells him this, he's always smiling. Like, why are you smiling?
Rubbing it in.
Money.
Yeah, he's always rubbing it in, like, you should have never gone in. I told you. I don't think he told him, but he's like, you should have never gone in on that. But I like how George says he's going down with the ship. He's going to stick with the stock because it keeps going down, like you said, down, 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 down. And Jerry's like, he can't wait. You're supposed to turn your head, wait a while, and then come back and see. But he was just checking every day, every single day. And yeah.
And that'll drive you nuts.
And I do like how George, because George learned from another guy secondhand who was friends with the guy that went in the hospital. But George goes and visits the guy in the hospital and mentions that guy's name, and kicks him out of the hospital. And George is wondering why. Yeah. He goes, this guy for being sick. I don't know what he's got, but man, he's one strong man. But yeah, I think it was because the guy shouldn't have let that information out, and he's giving people tips and stuff like that. So it's probably why it was. And later on, he gives another tip at the end of the episode, but we'll keep talking about it. Continue, Dave.
Well, I don't have a whole lot.
Anything?
I don't have a lot to say about this one, except
hey guys,
it makes me feel bad because of Vanessa, because I think she's so beautiful. And as I said, you're up in Vermont, you're in, it's cuddling weather. They've got a fireplace, they've got a room, it's raining outside, and you've got Vanessa.
Well, it's like, let's just say this. There's always that situation. I guess I wouldn't know, but I understand stuff and relationships.
What do you?
No matter. Oh, yeah.
All right, Miss Joyce, Dr. Joyce Brothers.
Yes, I've
Tell me about
had my own radio show for a while, Dave.
All right.
I just don't talk about it.
I guess I didn't know all your channels.
But you don't, do you? Who knows what I'm doing out there on YouTube land? Some things I got to keep to myself. Anyways, when it comes to male and female relationships, sometimes you may think that one woman's, she's beautiful. How could he not be attracted to her?
Right.
But there are certain personalities that just don't connect. So you find yourself in situations like you found yourself in, Jerry, where you're sitting there at this nice bed and breakfast with this beautiful woman, and you've got nothing to say. It's because this woman doesn't respond the way that you want her to respond. She doesn't show you the affection that you're looking for. So every time you bring something up, it's shot down. It's not paid any attention to. So he continues to repeat his jokes to her. And she goes, I heard that already. It's because he's got nothing to talk about. She's just not interested.
I love it's
too soon. Anyways,
the brain things that are going on when he's just sitting there and you can hear the voiceover of him going, I got an hour and a half ride back with her. What am I going to say?
I'm going to spend 29 hours with this woman yet. What the heck am I going to do?
I can see if they've got another room, and
he even tried to do that. Yep.
He's literally trying to get away from her.
Oh yeah. No, it's not going well at all. There is a later episode down seasons. I forget, maybe season 6, something like that, where he's with it's when George meets Susan.
Okay.
And they want to go back out to the country. It's the girl he meets in the restaurant, the laugher, the laugher. She's the one with the funny laugh.
The Elmer Fudd on a blender.
Yes, Elmer Fudd on a blender. That in that episode, it's similar to this, to where they're going out to the country. It's pie country, and this one kind of worked out. They're going to a cabin.
It doesn't totally work out because Kramer burns down the cabin.
Well, Well, I mean, it still worked out because George still got Susan, and Susan was upset. But then we got the Cheever letters, and we found out that Susan's father just was having an affair with another male writer, and everything went downhill from there. Then there was another resort episode down the line. I know I'm skipping over season 1 here, but where they went out to the country again. This time it was seaside, and this is when Kramer gets the lobsters.
Yep.
What's that?
The Hamptons.
The Hamptons episode, yeah. And this is when George's girlfriend comes out there and bathes topless, and she just walks right up to him like on the back. And George left for tomatoes because he had to get a good red plum tomato from the side of the road. And she showed Kramer, Jerry. She just walked right up, topless.
Jane was her name.
Jane was. Oh yeah.
Yes, I mean, I remember. Jerry leaning over, going, "And Jane's topless."
He goes, "What? You got to see her before I did? No, that's not right." And then that's where the shrinkage came in episode. Jerry's girlfriend went in, saw him, and she didn't understand that a man's penis shrinks in cold water. It was just crazy.
One of the best episodes.
It was. I like when Jerry and George bring Elaine in and tell her, "You know about it, don't you? Do you know about shrinkage, right?" And she goes, "Shrinkage? What?" And he goes, "Yeah, like when you go in the pool." And she goes, "It does?" And Jerry goes, "Like a scared turtle." It's like, oh my God.
I think that episode also was Elaine trying to hit on a doctor.
I was in the pool.
The doctor was like, "You're breathless, Elaine." And she's all, "Oh my God, thank you." And then they have this ugly baby. The baby's breathless.
Yeah.
And, and she's all.
I got confused. I love throughout the seasons where they're so like just to the point. Like if an infant was ugly, they're like, the baby was ugly, it's just brutal honesty. It's so funny. Is Ian here? Ian Sharp, what's going on?
Hey.
Shrinkage. Yeah, it's a thing.
That brings everyone to the chat.
Shrinkage brings everyone to the chat. So yeah, what else can we talk about the stock tip? I don't think really anything else. You got any questions or anything, Dave? I don't know. How much more can we?
There's not a whole lot to say because we only had 5 episodes. So I mean, that kind of covers the first season. I'm looking forward, if they want, to season 2. Sometime in the future. And
the speed of the chat shows that we probably should hit all the seasons.
well,
yeah.
how many thumbs up do we have? Are we right by thumbs down? What is the?
Let's see. We could have a lot of thumbs down.
Yeah,
43 thumbs up.
ooh,
Yeah. Ooh, that stings. Ooh, that hurts.
I bet you we'll have more at the beginning of Kolchak next week. Which why don't we cover what we're going to be doing in the future here?
Sure.
All right. Next week we talk about Kolchak, the fan favorite episode. This is Horror in the Heights, I believe is the official title.
That is.
I have no idea what it's about.
It's yeah, it's about
In the
a
Heights.
murder on the top of a hill.
Really?
No, I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm yet to watch it.
All right.
But
we should probably look that up since we have another 25 minutes here.
yeah, go look that up while I explain to people what I didn't do a
is.
show. Didn't do a show last night. Push that a couple weeks from now. I'm smiling now, but I've had a rough week. Lots of stuff going on and little burnout. So apologies to all of you guys and gals out there. I'm doing the best I can with streams overnight and keeping them going every single night. But yeah, just burnout and yeah, I enjoy doing these with Dave and the weekend stuff, but we shall see where that goes. Anyways, Night Freight Talk Show. Hello. Go ahead, Dave. What is it about?
So here is the storyline for Horror in the Heights. Carl, that'd be Carl Kolchak, investigates a series of deaths that take place in a community mostly populated by the elderly. The bodies are partially devoured, seemingly by rats, but Kolchak begins to suspect that a more sinister force is at work, a ghastly, flesh-eating Hindu demon known as Rakasha has set up shop in the area, and it has the ability to take its victims by surprise by appearing to them as a person that they trust the most.
Sounds pretty darn good. That does sound like a good episode.
I cannot wait.
And just to elaborate real quick a little bit more on that, I hope everything's getting better, Dino. Yeah, it's just life stuff. But I don't listen. Most YouTubers aren't doing every single night. You know what I mean? I've been doing it every single night for 4.5 years. And the minute I take a night off, there's other places to go. So I push myself and keep pushing myself. That may be just on me to keep a stream going for the people who need it every single night. But most YouTubers can take a break, take a week off, and it doesn't affect their channel. Whereas mine, it would affect it, So I keep going until I can't no more. That's all. And again, it may seem like, I told Dave, a bed of roses, you know what I mean? Everything just should be spectacular. There should be no complaints or nothing, but burnout is a thing, man. And to do this from morning to night, every single night, and see everything else that is going on in the same vein on YouTube is it's hard mentally, especially with the week I've been dealing with. And again, I'm always honest with you guys. Going through stuff with my mom, when you reach a certain age, certain things start to happen. That's all I'll say, and I'm just trying to deal with a lot of that stuff right now. And it wears on you. And for me to sit here in the morning and put together the streams and then to put timestamps in and all this stuff, it is so draining. And it shouldn't be draining. I should be having fun like I'm doing here right now with Dave. So that's what's been going on, just to keep you guys up to date with what's going on in Dino's world. That's kind of what it is. And I'm trying to get through it the best I can and stay happy. So there you go. Sorry, Dave.
That's all right.
There
I'm
we
still
go.
here.
Okay, so J.B. is there. Policeman. Well, Mr. Seinfeld. We'll look into it. Yeah, the robbery. That's right. Yeah.
And
That
I
got-
will also mention that the policeman in the robbery is also, I think, the dad in Halloween 2.
okay, I didn't look that deep, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's a very famous he's a very famous horror actor as well.
Well, look at you, Dave. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't like that back and forth, and
I didn't like it either.
yeah, Jerry's like, do you ever find, you're taking notes, you're taking everything. Do you ever find anything? He goes, no, just bluntly, no, we're not going to worry. We're going to shelve this. It's just another stolen property thing.
I do like the part where he does try to use the remote to click on the TV and he starts pointing it everywhere, like, where's my TV?
Yeah, yeah. Johnson, take care of yourself. This show is like a drone, but no, I get it. That's what I'm saying. I know so many people that need it and rely on it and come here every night. And I really wouldn't want them going elsewhere. We've got a nice family here, and again, last night's stream I dedicated to Connie Proper Hilton, who passed away a couple months ago from cancer. And also did the same thing for RTN Productions and Denny. You guys are family. And when something happens, I'd like to just put that name in the title just to dedicate, so it'll always be there. And when you go back, you can think, and everybody was doing that last night. I thought that was really, really cool. But yeah, when Jerry was talking about that robbery, he was talking about the answering machine, and he was talking about, I'd hate to have somebody else answer my phone calls, which kind of didn't make sense, but I get it. You plug in the answer machine, he's going to respond. I don't know how that would happen, but the cop looked at him like, what are you talking about? He goes, it's an answering machine. They're receiving my calls. Anyways, whatever.
Well, we also have that later episode with someone stealing Jerry's car and answering his cell phone or his car phone.
Yes. There is a couple reasons why, Jamie. Jerry and Elaine never get together because it would ruin the show. But they did at least one episode where they did get back together
to save the relationship.
And it didn't work. And because they couldn't stay together. I mean, it would ruin kind of the show. Her part in Seinfeld was not her and Jerry being a couple, and it would ruin the whole dynamic of everything, right? I mean, but they did throw that in there where they were a couple for an episode, and then the next episode they weren't. But yeah, I couldn't see them staying together, that's for sure. Even Kramer, coming in and going, no way, no, this is not right. This is but anyways.
So I'm going to circle back.
Okay.
And we're going to do next week Kolchak.
Okay.
The week after, we're going to be doing the Wild Wild West. We're going to be returning to that for episode 2.
Yes.
Which I'm excited to see if Dino will like that one as much as episode 1. And then the week after, we are doing the very first episode, the pilot. I hate to say it was a pilot. It was a made-for-TV movie, Columbo, called Prescription Murder. And it's with Gene Barry. It's with my ex, Catherine Justice. It is Nina Falk is in there. It is a very young-looking Columbo. I think it dates to 1969, and it could be a standalone one-time movie at a movie theater. It's so good. And nice. I also hope you enjoy that one. But you and I were talking.
Sure I will.
I think you'll absolutely love it. You'll be like, this is amazing stuff. And I wanted to see also what the chat thought about this. Is you and I were talking throughout the week that growing up in the 80s, and we did a show on like 80s sitcoms. There were a lot of shows that we just did not see. For instance, I was watching an old Emmys and like all the Golden Girls were winning. And one of the people who was up against Rue McClanahan was this actress I had never heard of before, and she was in a show called The Days and Nights of Molly Dodd. And I'm like, if you are an almost Emmy award-winning actress for this TV show that I've never really heard of, maybe we should check out just some random TV shows that we've never watched, such as The Days and Nights of Molly Dodd. And I was at one of my friends' houses this week. They're watching Northern Exposure. I've never seen Northern Exposure. I've never seen.
I'm not sure how much I'd like Northern Exposure. I know what it's about and what it, the Alaskan doctor and veterinarian or whatever.
Okay.
Never seen an episode, and I don't know if I want to. Dave,
and like for me, I've never seen Twin Peaks.
Oh.
And there's just so many things that I think maybe we should randomly throw out there. Like, hey, let's just see, this random. There's actually a YouTube channel that deals with shows that have only been on for 15 episodes or less.
Okay.
Season cancellations. And I just think it would be so fun, maybe to do a Faulty Towers, maybe to do Are You Being Served? Something like that we can agree on. That,
you better believe it. Yeah.
Like, let's just check this out just for fun and just for, just to talk about the 80s again, whether it's hairstyles or puffy shirts or
or whatever,
cargo pants,
hairdos. Yeah, no, and Twin Peaks. I think starting off with that, you need to see a Twin Peaks.
Okay, I'm dying to see a Twin Peaks. I have no idea. I know there's a character named Laura Palmer or something like that, but that's all I know.
Oh yeah, listen, David Lynch, man, that original series of Twin Peaks, not the Showtime reboot type thing. That was David Lynch messing with people's minds. He's an artist and he likes to mess with people. And that you might think the Twin Peaks, the original series, didn't make sense. And you're like, wow, this is tripped out. But the Showtime one that they brung back a few years ago, what a waste of time. Anyways, we should do a little some Prairie.
All right, Jamie, first of all, brings up Little House. And I will say, in San Fernando Valley right now, there is a 50th anniversary of Little House on the Prairie going on.
Really?
Melissa Gilbert is there. All the surviving actors are there. Obviously, I'm not there.
Huh.
But I just saw that it was on all these news channels. They are just celebrating this 50-year anniversary of Little House on the Prairie.
Well, Jamie, you might have to go to that. It's still going on, Dave? Yeah.
Well, it's Sunday night, so I believe it's probably ending. So
Sunday. Oh, okay. Shoot. Yeah, I missed that one. But yeah, unfortunately, we're not doing that probably.
Maybe next year for the 51st anniversary.
I don't know. Prefer Lynch's movies? Oh, Ian Sharp. Yes. David Lynch's movies are great. Eraserhead. It's very controversial. It's a movie that people watch it and go, "What the?" I love Eraserhead. Eraserhead is a movie that is so tripped out and so like you can sit there in all the darkness and just watch it, and just by the end you're just in this weird fantasy kind of fog, and you're like, that was something else. It's just really weird. Anyways, I heard about the 50th for the Little House on the Prairie. Oh, J.O.B. got the inside scoop on that too. Look at that. Little House on the Prairie fan
we could have had a late horror show meetup.
Yeah, there you go. See?
I would have stayed in the parking lot, but that's all right.
Can be. Don't let Emily see this. You guys are so funny. Okay, overnight tonight is a surprise mixed bag of CBS Radio Mystery Theater. Can't go wrong there. Yeah, and next week I'm going to talk about Night Gallery the next episode. So there you go. I pushed Outer Limits after that. So that is how it goes. Anyways, Dave, great discussion on Seinfeld season 1.
Awesome. I had a good
Yeah.
time. Thank you for spending Sunday evening with me.
Listen, I always enjoy talking to you about whatever. It doesn't matter what it is, really. I still think the food show in some way or whatever, we got to do something like
You gotta do a food show, absolutely. But I'm not going to make my own pizza pie.
You're going to make your own a pizza pie. It's so funny. There was an episode on the stream last night. I think it was like the second episode. I forget which one that I streamed last night, and I don't even remember it was last night. But it sounded like the Marx Brothers, Chico. They were all Italian, and they had a deep accent, and it sounded like Chico was Tony, and Tony was running all around. It was so funny. I was cracking up laughing here. But anyway,
I was just thinking about Harpo the other day. Someone shaking his hand and all the silverware falling out of his overcoat. God, that's good stuff. Good stuff.
This year, my daughter just started watching all the Harpo or the Marx Brothers movies with me. She's fallen in love with Harpo.
Oh.
She goes, and I'm trying to find a Harpo shirt for her. Probably have to make one up myself. But yeah, she loves Harpo. I'm like, oh, good pick. I mean, I think out of all of them, maybe Harpo is. Well, listen, Groucho. I think it's Groucho, but she likes Harpo. Anyways, who is your favorite Marx brother?
It would be Groucho, but
Okay.
I love the fact that this family is so talented.
Yeah.
And, not only are they trained actors, like Chico is a world-class musician. Every time you see him playing the piano, it's him playing the piano.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just amazing. So, and by the way, tune the news. Do you happen to know what the WD of WD-40 stands for?
WD-40, what was brought up?
I have no idea.
Oh, WD-40.
Squeaky.
WD-40. Let's think about this. Wet the not even close. Okay.